To rank on the search engines, on top of the page content, there is something that runs in the background called meta tags. By default, meta tags are usually configured to ensure your pages are crawled and indexed on search engines correctly, so you may not have come across them when talking about SEO. But they are crucial to understand, especially for sites that are customized or built with HTML, or if your site is run by multiple consultants or employees, it runs a risk because you never know if they made a mistake or if they want to sabotage your site. I will share with you a way to prevent that from happening using Rank Math, but we'll talk about that in a while. For now, our focus is to learn about meta tags and how it impacts your pages. Let's go. Hey, it's Jack from Rank Math, the one tool that provides easy to use SEO and AI tools, and this channel provides you with tips, tricks, and tutorials to help you grow your search traffic. So if you're new to us, consider subscribing. So what exactly are SEO meta tags? The short answer is, SEO meta tags are snippets of HTML code that provide information about a web page to search engines and website visitors. But in practice, if we visit any web page, for example Rank Math's homepage, if we right-click and select View Page Source, you will see the meta title of the page, its meta description, as well as the robot's meta tags. The meta title and descriptions are important meta tags because when they are well optimized, your audience as well as the search engines can better understand the context and relevance of the page content. As a result, it improves click-through rate and rankings. As for the other meta tags, it helps enhance the page's visibility on search engines. So not all meta tags are equal. Some meta tags have little impact on search rankings while others are more significant. So let's talk about the ones you should keep in mind, starting with the meta title. So the meta title tag, or some will refer to it as the title tag, serves as the title of a web page, and it is displayed prominently in the search engine results page. Such as when we search for Rank Math on Google, we see this clickable headline in the search result. That's the result of the meta title. If we go to the page itself, let's view its page source. Over on the meta title, as you can see, this over here reflects the clickable title in the search engine results page. This meta title is important because it is the most prominent element of the search result. People will assess the meta title to decide if they should click through to check out the page. And as for the search engines, they rely heavily on the title tag to understand the relevance and context of the web page in relation to your audience's search query. So if you work on a WordPress editor and you have Rank Math installed, you can edit the meta title when you click on the Rank Maths tab and the Edit Snippet button. This is the field that includes your meta title. And by default, if you did not change any settings on Rank Math, you will see several variables here. This title variable takes information from the title you add to the page. As you can see, this page title is the same as the meta title. Any changes to this field will be reflected on this preview. Then this separator variable is the separated as reflected here. And then the site name variable takes information from your site name as you can find from your WordPress dashboard. Go to settings and select general. This is the place where the variable is getting its information. So this set of variables is applied to all your pages and posts by default through one of Rank Math's settings, which you can find in Rank Math's titles and meta settings. Under either the posts or pages, you will see the post title settings here. So if you just want the title variable, which is whatever that is in the page title, and you do not want to see the site name after that, you can remove the rest, scroll to the bottom, save changes, and back to the page, refresh it, go to Edit Snippet, and you will see the default as just the title variable. You can add the variables manually as well by clicking on this. You can see there are many different variables you can add to the meta title if they make sense to you. Now to optimize this meta title for SEO, note that we have several SEO checks. We check if the meta title contains the focus keyword, which is the main focus keyword you want your page to rank for, and you have included it here. Then under the title readability checks, we look for the focus keyword at the beginning of the SEO title. Which means if the focus keyword is not within the first 50% of the title, for example instead of grills versus smokers, which does a better job, we have the ultimate showdown, grills versus smokers. Let's close this, and you will see we have failed this test. Having the main focus keyword at the beginning is favored slightly by the search engines, so have the focus keyword in front of the title. Then we look for positive and negative sentiment through a list of words, which you can find by clicking on this question mark icon, scroll down a little, and here's a link to a list of positive words we look for. as well as the list of negative words. As you can see, there are hundreds or thousands of words we look for. And then we also look for power words, which are impactful words that will elicit a psychological or emotional response. And similarly, click on this icon, click on this link. We look for power words listed on this page, so feel free to check them out. And finally, we look for a number in the SEO meta title, because studies show that numbers in the meta title might increase the click-through rate. So for example, in this case, since the SEO title is the same as the page title, 7 reasons why one is better than the other, you will pass this check. Now, one more thing to optimize the SEO meta title is the length. You see in the edit snippet, we have this length indicator. We recommend following the indicator of the pixel width instead of the character count, because search engines will follow the pixel width. So in this case, because the SEO title exceeded by 2 characters, it is still acceptable in the pixel width, so we don't need to change anything. Now, if you don't want the page title to be the SEO meta title, yet you have trouble writing it, you can always rely on our AI called Content AI to generate one for you. Simply click on this button and it will start generating a meta title and description for you. If you find a meta title and description useful, simply click on Insert and they will be added to the fields. So now that you know you can leverage on an AI to write meta titles and descriptions for you, let's talk about the meta description. So to know any page's meta description, for example this page that talks about meta tags, simply right click on the page, view page source, and under the meta name description, this is the meta description for the page. Now if I want to change the meta description for this page, let's check out what it is right now. It is this long description that says when it comes to outdoor cooking, grills and smokers, which is the main focus keyword, are often the question people ask. But what's the difference between the two and which should you? And it ends here. This meta description seems like it is taken out of context from the page and it is being cut off at the end. So if we want to edit this meta description to make it more professional and concise, we can go to the WordPress editor of the page, similarly on Rank Maths tab, and edit snippet. This is where you can change the description. We can say grills versus smokers. Which should you choose for the next backyard BBQ? We have the answer for you. The best SEO practice for meta description is if you have the main focus keyword in it. You can find that SEO check right here. So since our main focus keyword is grills versus smokers, we are getting a pass here because it can be found in the meta description right here. Also, the recommended meta description length is 920 pixels in width. Now the cool thing about using Rank Math is that even if you do not add any text in this field, for example if we remove the text, Rank Math will replace it with something else. That's because we will check multiple places to find the optimal meta description for you. So if you did not add a custom meta description here, the next place it will check is in the Rank Maths title and meta description settings. Under posts or pages, you will see the meta description settings here. This excerpt variable is added to this field by default, and it is applied to all posts in this case. If you have a different variable added here, Rank Math will use that. But if you keep this variable, then the next place Rank Math will check is if there is anything added to the post excerpt on the page settings. And if this is left empty, then Rank Math will use the first paragraph of the page as the meta description, which is the same as what you see right here, just that it is cut off after should you. But personally, I prefer the custom meta description we have written. So if you like what you see, you must remember to update the page so that all the changes you have made will be captured. Alright, that's for the single page meta title and description. Now, if you have many older articles with irrelevant or outdated meta tags, it will be cumbersome to visit every page to edit them. So, we have a solution for you. But the prerequisite is you need to have one of Content AI subscriptions. So on your post list, such as if you sort your post by date and you filter that, you want to select all posts by clicking on this checkbox. Now, one thing about this checkbox is that in WordPress, by default, it only displays 20 posts. And when you check this, you are only selecting 20 posts. So to expand the number of posts to be selected, you want to expand the screen options and change this number of items per page to a maximum of 999. Click Apply. And the next time you check this, all your posts will be selected if it does not exceed 999. Now the next thing you want to do after you have selected all the posts is you want to click on this bulk actions. You want to select write SEO title and description with AI, or you can select one of these if applicable, but let's select that. And then when you hit apply, give it a while. Depending on the number of posts you have selected, it may take a few minutes or longer. Remember, all these SEO titles and descriptions are variables, so when this is done, let's refresh the page. And now you can see that the AI has generated the SEO titles and descriptions in bulk. Quite a neat solution, so give it a try. Now let's talk about the meta tags that influence the visibility of a page on search engines. So when we visit this page and we check out its page source, right at the meta name equals robots, you will have the content equals follow, index, max snippet, max preview, and max image preview. These are the robots meta tags that influence the visibility of your page. And the settings for these robots meta can be found on the WordPress editor of the page. Click on Rank Maths tab. Under the Advanced tab, you will see the basic robots meta tags as well as the advanced robots meta tags. Now check this out. If we select the no snippet option and we save changes, go back to the page source, take note of the robots meta tags here. If I refresh the page, you will see that the advanced robots meta such as the max snippet and all will be gone. And if I uncheck this and select no image index, no archive, no follow, and as for the index and no index, you can only select one. So if I select no index, the checkbox on the index will be removed. But let's say that I keep it as index first and have the rest of these settings checked. Let's update the page, view the page source again, and refresh the page. You will see all the other meta tags added, such as no follow, no image index, and no archive. Don't worry, we will talk about what each of them do in a while. And finally, let's switch back to the WordPress editor. Let's uncheck the rest and select just no index. Let's update the page, visit the page source again, and refresh. You will see that the no index option removes the advanced robots meta tags. So both the no index and no snippet options will automatically remove the advanced robots meta tags. Now these are the meta tags available on all your posts and pages. Like for example, if we create a new post on your site and we go to the advanced tab of Rank Math, we will see these settings here as well. Now what if you have a certain set of settings that you want to be applied to all your other posts, not just on this page? For example, you want all your posts to have a no archive meta tag. You don't have to meddle with these settings for the new posts you will be creating. You just have to visit Rank Math's titles and meta settings. Now you see here the global meta controls all the meta information of your entire site. But if you only want to have that setting for all your posts, you would select the post type. Scroll down a little. Now over here, if you did not toggle this post robots meta on, the post robots meta will follow the same settings in the global meta. But if you turn this on, then these settings will take precedence over the global meta. So if you want all your posts to have a no archive tag, check that, save changes, and now that setting will be applied to all your posts. So the post can have its own set of default meta tag settings, the pages can have its own set of settings, and if you have custom post types, you will have the option to create its own meta tag settings as well. As you can see here, right beside each of the meta tag, there is this question mark icon. If we click on each of them, there will be a short description of what each meta tag will do. But let's go a little deeper in the explanation for each meta tag. Okay, this is pretty straightforward. If you want a page or post to be indexed on the search engines, then you want to check this box. By default, the index meta tag will be applied to all posts and pages. There are many instances where you would use the no index meta tag. For example, thin content pages. Pages with very little content or content that are duplicated elsewhere on your site, they won't be valuable to search users. Keeping those thin content pages indexed might hurt your overall SEO, so you want to add a no index meta tag to them. Thin content could also be applied to category or tag pages on WordPress. If your site has only a couple of content and the category pages aggregates those pages with short descriptions, it might not have value to search users and might be better off being no index. But if your category page is used in the form of a content hub, like for example HubSpot has a category page that specifically teaches about Instagram marketing, it groups the content by beginner, then it shows its featured resource, Following that, the intermediate content regarding Instagram marketing, then the more advanced content about the same topic. In such a case, it will make sense for the category page to be indexed. In other words, if a page, be it a standalone page or a category page, helps the site visitors or adds value to the user experience, they should be indexed. Otherwise, if a page that provides little to no value to a site visitor, the no index meta tag should be applied to that page. We have discussed the different types of content hubs you can apply to your site, and if you're interested in checking them out, the video is right here. We have left a link in the description. Next, temporary pages like thank you page after a form submission, private content like user account pages or internal documents, test pages, coming soon or under construction pages should be marked with the no index meta tag as well. So these are the most common use cases for the no index meta tag. If you have more to share, feel free to let us know in the comments. Now, the nofollow meta tag is used to instruct search engines not to follow the links on the page. This is a page-level meta directive. When active, it suggests to the search engines that they should not consider those links when determining the link equity, or in other words, the importance of the pages they are linked to. Links like sponsored links, affiliate links, user-generated content, social media links, and outbound links with low credibility should be marked with the nofollow meta tag. Now, we do not recommend using the page level nofollow meta tag because we recommend using the link level meta tag. For example, if we add a link and it is a sponsored link, you can set the link to sponsored. And if it is a link to a page with questionable credibility, then you can set the link to nofollow and save it. Setting a nofollow to a page level would mean that all links on the page will be set to nofollow, including internal links, which is bad for SEO if you do so. If I were you, I would not use this nofollow meta tag at all, unless necessary. The no archive tag is particularly useful when the content of the page constantly changes. For example, if you run the Namecheap coupon page, and these coupon codes will expire today, when tomorrow comes, a new set of coupon codes will be available on this page. Now, if this no archive meta tag is left unchecked for that page, and if your customers found this page from Google tomorrow, they may be served with the outdated coupon codes because Google have cached the page with the old coupon codes and display it to the searcher. So having no archive meta tag on pages with content that constantly changes is a good practice because it will tell search engines that they shouldn't cache the content on this particular page. Now, you will use the no image index meta tag on a page if you do not want the images on this page to be indexed on Google and other search engines. This could prevent people from stealing your images from search engines, but the negative aspect for using this meta tag is that your site might not benefit from the traffic that might have been generated through Google image search. Another reason for using this meta tag is if your site has lots of images and search engines might slow down the indexing of your pages. Stock photo sites, wallpaper sites, and some e-commerce sites might benefit from using the no image index meta tag. So you really have to weigh the pros and cons for using this no image index meta tag. This is a search engine snippet. This is another. And then this, as well as this. If you add this no snippet meta tag, it means that you do not want your page to be featured as a snippet on search engines. For most sites, I believe we wouldn't want to use a meta tag like this, but if you have some specific use cases, please share it with us in the comments. This max snippet robots meta tag applies to the text snippets you see on Google. For example, this. For such a query, we never have to click through the link to visit the page because you got your answer directly from Google. And as a site owner, you may not like that. So you can use this max snippet meta tag to limit the number of characters Google use for a snippet from your page. For example, you can limit Google to display this number of characters on the page, so they have to click through the link to find this information. Now, by default, this meta tag is set to -1, which means unlimited characters. Google can use any number of characters from your page for the snippet. If you change this to, for example, 60, it means Google and other search engines should display only 60 characters from the page on the snippet. Okay, it is hard to find a proper example for this meta tag, but I found one. Let's say that this page is granted a video snippet like this, and if someone hovers over the video, a preview of the video will be played. Now this max video preview meta tag will tell the search engines the number of seconds the preview should be played. If it is set to -1, which is the default, it means that there is no limit and the search engine can decide what is the appropriate preview length. But if it is set to, for example, 3, it means that the preview should only be played for 3 seconds. It is as simple as that. So check this out. If I search for Great Barrier Reef, as you scroll through the results, some pages have a squared image preview and some has a rectangle preview. If we visit this page for example, and let's view the page source, let's search for robot. We can see the robot's meta here. It shows that the page has set the max image preview as large. So this image preview meta setting lets you configure the size of the image search engines should display. If it is set to large, which is our default, it can result in a larger image preview in the search results depending on the aspect ratio of the image. So if this is the featured image of the page and it is in rectangle shape, it will most likely result in the rectangle image preview. Again, it depends on the search engine. However, if the image on a page is in rectangle shape, but the image preview is set to standard, then the preview image may be squared. But again, it depends on the search engine. And if it's set to none, it means that you do not want any images in the preview for your page. Now, if you don't know, having the max image preview as large is one of the requirements for having your pages on Google Discover. And if you want to learn more about having your pages on Google Discover, you can check out this video right here. We have left the link in the description. Now the question is, if you know what a robots.txt file does, you'll be confused as to why you still need the robots meta tags, right? They offer similar functions. They both instruct search engines telling them what they should do on your site. So let me walk you through the differences. Normally when a search engine robot visits your site, before it starts crawling any pages, it will check the robots.txt file to see if there are any directives. Most established search engines will honor the directives or instructions set by the site owner. If you specify to the search engine that a specific page should not be crawled on the robots.txt file, they won't even visit that page. So even if you have no index or any other meta tags on that page, they are pointers because the robot won't even touch that page. So if you want a search engine robots to acknowledge the existence of the meta tags on a page, you first have to allow the robot to crawl the page, which means you do not set any limitations on the robots.txt file. And if there is a no index meta tag, then that page, though it is crawled, it may not be indexed on the search engines. So robots meta is applied on the page level while the robots.txt file directives are applied on a site-wide level. Search engine robots will first look at the robots.txt file before checking out the robots meta tags on the page. In other words, if you need to block a group of pages from being indexed efficiently, for example e-commerce filter pages, you should do it on the robots.txt file instead of adding meta tags on each of the filter page. So now that you know how the meta tags influence the visibility of a page, let's talk about mitigating some security risk. So for example, we have employed a writer on the site and we do not want this writer to have control over the robots meta tags on any pages. What you would do is to hover over the user's menu item and add a new user. You would add all the necessary information about the writer. Then as for the role, you would select, for example, the author role and create that user. Then to control the access for the author role, hover to RankMath SEO and you will see the role manager module here. If you don't see this, then visit the dashboard and search for the role manager module right here. Make sure to turn this on. And once you have done that, either click on this settings button or click on the menu item. And you will see all the available settings and the roles right here. Simply check or uncheck the settings to give access to the role. Now for the author role, as you can see, the on-page advanced settings is turned off by default. So if we log out as administrator and log in using the author role, let's create a page. Visit the Rank Maps tab and you will see that the Advanced Settings tab is hidden from the author. That's how you prevent other people from meddling with the robots meta tags of your pages. Alright, with this, I hope you have a better understanding of how the robots meta tags help your page rank and be visible. And if a particular page is getting a snippet on search engines but it is not what you would have expected, you know where to meddle with the settings. If you find this video helpful, how about helping us out by smashing the thumbs up? And if you haven't subscribed to us, we are all about helping you grow your search traffic, so consider subscribing. This is Jack from RankMath. I'll see you in the next video.